This is a story of a man who pretended to be blind to catch his cheating wife. Let's watch to find out if truly he was able to catch the wife or not. Before we start, do well to like the video and subscribe to this channel for more stories like this. Emeka was a good man. He went to work every day at a big factory. He worked very hard to get money for his wife, Adanna, and their two little children, Olachi and Nneka. Emeka loved his family so much. One day, Emeka came home from the factory very early. It was not time for him to come home yet. Emeka had a surprise for his wife, Adanna. He stopped at the flower store and got beautiful red flowers for her. Emeka could not wait to see Adanna's big smile when she sees the pretty flowers. But when Emeka opened the door of his house, he heard weird noises coming from the bedroom. This noise made Emeka's face frown up in confusion. What could be making those funny sounds? Emeka tiptoed up to the bedroom door very quietly, like a little mouse. He leaned up his ears against the door to try to hear the strange noises better. Emeka heard giggles. They sounded like Adanna's, and then Emeka's eyes went wide. He heard the deep voice of a man too. It did not sound like Emeka's voice at all. Poor Emeka began to tremble as his mind tried to understand what was happening. There was a man in the bedroom with Adanna. Adanna was being very naughty and sneaky behind Emeka's back. Tears started leaking out of Emeka's eyes. His heart felt like it was being squeezed so tight it could break in half. After a few seconds, Emeka heard the man leaving out the back door of the house. He waited until he couldn't hear the footsteps anymore before reaching for the bedroom door handle with a shaky hand. Emeka pushed open the door slowly. Adanna gasped out loud when she saw him. She quickly pulled the bedsheets up over her body, trying to cover herself up. "Emeka, you're home so soon. I can explain. Really, I can." Adanna cried out in a panic. But Emeka didn't want to hear any of Adanna's lies and excuses. He felt so angry, so sad, and so betrayed all at the same time. Hot tears rolled down Emeka's cheek as he looked at Adanna with disgust. Without saying a single word, Emeka turned around and rushed out of the house. He walked quickly down the streets, his head spinning with so many emotions. Emeka didn't know where he was going. He just had to get away. For hours, poor Emeka wandered around the neighborhood, with his heart feeling like it was broken into a million little pieces. He thought and thought about what he should do about Adanna's cheating. Finally, after walking around for too long, Emeka came up with a plan. He would pretend to be blind so that Adanna would think he couldn't see. Then she would act sneaky and naughty around her secret boyfriend again because she would think the blind Emeka couldn't catch her. But Emeka would really be able to see everything. That way, he could get proof that Adanna was cheating on him with another man. Emeka felt a little scared about trying to trick Adanna like that. What if she found out he was faking and his plan was ruined? He took a deep breath and decided he had to try. Emeka needed proof of Adanna's cheating ways so he could leave her for good. When Emeka finally made his way back home, it was getting dark outside. He didn't see any lights inside the house. He hoped Adanna wasn't there so he wouldn't have to face her right away after what he had heard and seen earlier. Emeka crept inside as quiet as a mouse. He looked around but he didn't see or hear Adanna anywhere. Maybe she had gone somewhere else to cheat with her boyfriend again. The thoughts made Emeka's stomach feel sick. He tiptoed upstairs to check on his children. Olachi was sleeping soundly in her bed, hugging her favorite doll close. Emeka bent down and gave her a gentle kiss on the forehead. In Nneka's crib, the baby was also sleeping peacefully. Emeka felt so sad looking at his two beautiful innocent children. They had no idea what a terrible thing their mother had done behind their father's back. Emeka loved his children more than anything in the world. The thought of Adanna's cheating hurting them made him feel even worse. Knowing he needed his rest for his big acting job tomorrow, Emeka got ready for bed. He placed his sunglasses and a walking cane on the nightstand, ready to use them first thing when he wakes up in the morning. Emeka's stomach twisted up in a knot, thinking about the day ahead. He just hoped he could pull off being a blind man long enough to catch Adanna. Emeka tossed and turned most of the night, never falling into a deep sleep. He couldn't stop thinking about how Adanna had betrayed him and their marriage vows. He thought about the man's deep voice he had heard coming from the bedroom, and his blood boiled with anger and jealousy. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, morning came. Emeka could hear Olachi wandering out of the kitchen to watch her morning cartoons. He hoped Adanna would be downstairs soon so he would begin his act for her. Emeka put on the dark sunglasses and grabbed the walking cane from the nightstand. He took a deep breath and headed downstairs, feeling his way along slowly like a blind person would have to do. "Good morning, my sweet Olachi," Emeka called out in an overly cheery voice as he shuffled into the living room. He made sure to bump into the furniture a few times and feel around dramatically. "Papa, what's wrong? Why are you wearing those funny glasses?" Olachi asked, her voice laced with confusion and concern. Before Emeka could answer, he heard Adanna enter the room from the kitchen. "Emeka, what's going on?" Emeka turned his head in the direction of Adanna's voice, making sure to keep the sunglasses on and avoid looking at her directly. He put on his most distrustful expression as he cried out, "Adanna, I cannot see. Everything has gone dark and black." He paused to make a few sobs. "I have gone blind. Oh, I have gone blind." "Oh no, Emeka, what happened?" Adanna gasped, rushing over to him. Emeka could hear the panic in her voice. "I don't know," Emeka stammered, shaking his head slowly while blinking rapidly behind his dark glasses. "I just woke up and everything was completely blind. I cannot see a thing." He brushed past Adanna, stumbling a bit with his cane as if struggling to get his bearing. Out of the corners of his eyes, he saw Adanna's hand flying up to cover her mouth in shock. "Ah, my poor husband," she murmured, reaching out to steady him. "How could this have happened? You were perfectly fine yesterday." Emeka turned his face away, feeling dismay and fear. "I am so scared, Adanna. What if this blindness is permanent?" He let out a dramatic whisper. "How will I be able to work and provide for my family? You will have to take care of me from now on." Olachi had gone silent, watching the scene unfold with wide, worried eyes. Emeka's heart ached, having to upset his sweet daughter with this charade, but he knew it was necessary. Dear, my love," Adanna called in what she probably thought was a smoothing tone, though it sounded rather forced to Emeka's ears. "We'll get through this together. I'm here for you, I promise." She looped her arm through his and began leading him back to their bedroom. "Let me run you a nice hot bath to relax, and then I'll make you a hearty breakfast, okay?" Emeka allowed Adanna to guide him, concentrating on each hurting footstep and keeping his eyes carefully averted from her face. He could sense her studying him intently, no doubt searching for any crack in his blind man's facades. Over the next few days, Adanna fused over Emeka's hand and foot, attending to his every need as a blind man. She helped him eat, bathed him, dressed him, brushed his teeth, and guided him around the house so he wouldn't stumble or bump into anything. Emeka could tell Adanna was trying to be the picture of a devoted, caring wife, but he noticed her growing more impatient and restless the longer she was coiled up at home taking care of him, like a caged animal anxious to break free. One day, while Adana thought Emeka was napping, he heard her murmuring discreetly into the phone in the next room. "Hello, it's me," she whispered. "I'm going crazy being stuck at home all day and night." "No, he's resting right now. You know that fool actually believes he's blind." She let out a cruel laugh and made Emeka's skin crawl. Emeka strained his ears to listen as Adana continued her hushed conversation. "I can't keep this up much longer. Can you meet me tonight?" "Yes, the usual place at 8 a.m. I will be there." She giggled again in that way that used to sound so sweet to Emeka, but now felt like nails on a chalkboard. He clenched his fist tightly, his anger simmering just below the surface as he heard Adana click off the phone. That was it. Tonight will be his big chance to catch Adana in the act, with the evidence he needed to finally be rid of her unfaithful ways for good. Emeka could feel his heart pounding in his chest, boom, 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 with nervous anticipation. When evening came, Emeka pretended to be asleep, while Adana quietly got dressed and ready to sneak out of the house. As soon as he heard the front door close behind her, he leaped out of the bed and scrambled to change into fresh clothes himself. Double-checking that the children were settled for the night with a neighbor, Emeka crept out of the house, keeping a safe distance between Adana as he tailed her through the darkened streets. His stomach twisted into knots when Adana arrived at a rundown motel on the outskirts of town and knocked on one of the doors. A tall, masculine man with a skinny grin appeared, ushering Adana quickly inside without a word. Emeka felt his blood boiling with rage and jealousy as he witnessed the sordid scene unfold right before his eyes. So this was the man his wife has been sneaking around with, betraying their marriage and their family. He wanted nothing more than to burst through that door and confront both of them right then and there. But Emeka knew he needed to remain calm and patient. He required undeniable proof of Adana's infidelity before taking any next step. Trying his best to ignore the sound of passionate cries drifting from the motel room, Emeka settled in to keep watch from the shadows, waiting for the moment Adana and her lover would emerge again. Deep down, he already knew the devastating truth, but he had to see it with his own eyes one final time before his world came crashing down completely. Emeka waited and waited outside the dirty motel for Adana to come out. He hid in the bushes like a little mouse so Adana wouldn't see him. Emeka heard a door open. He looked over and saw Adana came rushing out of the motel room. She had her robe wrapped around her and her hair was a mess. Emeka ran towards her and confronted her. Adana was surprised that Emeka could see. "Emeka, what are you doing out here?" Adana cried in a squeaky voice, putting her hands over her open mouth. Then Adana's face drained of all its colors when she realized why Emeka was there. She knew he had caught her cheating on him. Emeka could see the shame and guilt all over Adana's face. Emeka could see the shame and guilt all over Adana's face. You can see." "Ah," Adana whispered, staring at Emeka with wide eyes. "Oh, Emeka, I am so sorry you had to find out this way." Emeka felt so mad when he saw Adana standing there. His face got all scrunched up in an angry frown. "Don't say sorry to me, Adana," he shouted at her. "I knew you had been cheating on me with that other man." Emeka pointed his finger right at the man who came out of the motel room. The man had messy hair and was trying to quickly tie his rope. He looked around very shy and embarrassed that everyone saw him. The big bully man running the hotel saw Adana with the other man too. He made a mean, ugly face. I should have known you were stepping out with this broke, skinny guy," he yelled at Adana in a rude voice. Get your trash and get out of my motel." Adanna started to shed crocodile tears. "Emeka, please, let me explain," she cried, reaching for his arm, but Emeka smacked her arm away, still foaming with anger. Emeka couldn't even stand to look at Adanna anymore after what she did. He felt like his heart has been ripped into a million pieces. Without a word, he turned around and marched away quickly, trying not to let Adanna see his own tears falling. Many days passed after that night. Adanna tried and tried to get Emeka to listen to her. She kept begging him to forgive her and take her back, but Emeka gave her the silent treatment, never speaking to his cheating wife. Emeka started getting ready to kick Adanna out of the house. He met with a lawyer to get divorce papers started. He only spoke to Adanna when it had to do with the children. The rest of the time, he ignored her pitiful cries and apologies like he couldn't even hear her. One evening, when Emeka came home from the job at his factory, he found Adanna's suitcases all packed and sitting by the front door. Olachi and Nneka were sitting on the couch looking confused. "Papa, where is Mama going?" Olachi asked with a sad pout. Adanna walked in, her eyes all puffy and red from crying so much. I'm going to my sister's house for a while," she told the children in a shaky voice. Her lips quivered as she spoke. "Until your papa and I can work things out." Emeka simply nodded once without any feeling on his face. He was glad Adanna had decided to leave for now after the way she had hurt the family. But it still pained him to see his children so upset. Adanna dropped down to her knees and pulled Olachi and Nneka into a tight hug, kissing their cheeks over and over as tears rolled down her face. "Mama loves you both so much," she cried to them. "You'll be good little angels for Papa until I get back, okay?" The two little kids started crying too, even though they didn't fully understand why their mama was leaving. It broke Emeka's heart to see them so sad, but he stayed strong, not showing much feeling at all. After squeezing her babies once more, Adanna stood up and faced Emeka with a look of deep shame and regret. "I know I can never excuse the way I betrayed you, Emeka," she said, her voice cracking. "But I hope that maybe one day you can find it in your heart to forgive me." Emeka stared hard at Adanna for a long time, seeing the sorrows in her eyes. Finally, he gave a small nod. Maybe, just maybe, he could forgive her one day after his heart didn't hurt so bad. Then Emeka turned and brought the kids to their room to give Adanna privacy as she gathered her things and left their home. When the door shut behind Adanna, Emeka exhaled a deep breath he didn't realize he was holding. Part of him felt lighter, relieved that Adanna's lying and cheating was over now. Another part felt so heavy with sadness that his marriage was broken. Emeka looked down at Olachi and little Nneka and forced a small smile for them, the two most precious treasures in the world. "Don't worry, my babies," he said softly, pulling them in close for a warm hug. "Everything will be okay." He kissed their little heads, making a silent vow to be strong and brave for his children during this painful time. Emeka knew it wouldn't be easy, but he was determined to pick up the pieces and rebuild his life without Adanna's betrayal holding him back any longer. For many days and nights, Adanna stayed away at her sister's house, just like she had said. Emeka and the two little children missed their mama being around, but Emeka was still very mad at Adanna for cheating, so he didn't let her come home yet. Olachi kept asking Emeka, "When will Mama be back from Auntie's?" Poor Olachi didn't understand why her mama had to go away for so long. Nneka would look around with a confused look on her little face, wondering where Mama went. Emeka felt sad when his two children missed their mama like that, but he was still too angry and hot to let Adanna come home. His heart was broken into pieces, remembering how she was kissing that other man at the motel. A few weeks went by and there was a big knock at the door one Saturday morning. Emeka opened it and saw Adanna standing there with some other people. It was her mother, her father, her uncle and aunt. "Emeka, please," Adanna looked at him with sadness in her eyes. "You must listen to what our family elders have to say." The elders stepped inside, their face looking very serious. Mama Ijoma, Adanna's mother, spoke up first in her scratchy old voice. "My son, we have come because of our family is in crisis," she said, shaking her head slowly. "His household has been broken, and it brings dishonor if it is not repaired." Papa Nandi, Adanna's father, chimed in next with a deep, booming voice. "As our child's husband, it is your duty to find forgiveness and allow her back into your home where she belongs." Emeka frowned and started to argue. He opened his mouth to remind them about how badly Adanna had cheated and betrayed their marriage, but the elders shushed him firmly before he could get away any other words. "We know what she has done was very wrong and shameful," Aunty Nneka spoke, giving Adanna a stern look. "But the bond of marriage is sacred. If you cherish your children's happiness, you too must reconcile as husband and wife." Uncle Ebube nodded in agreement. "This is about more than just the two of you. It is about preserving the family," he said soberly. "The children need both their mother and father under the same roof to be properly raised." Emeka felt his face getting hot as he struggled with his anger and hot feelings towards Adanna. He knew the elders made some good points about the kids, but the thought of taking Adanna back after her unfaithfulness made him sick to his stomach. Olachi and Nneka had wandered into the room during all the talking. Olachi looked up at her papa with her big, innocent eyes. "Papa, is Mama finally coming home now?" she asked hopefully. Emeka felt his heart melting as he looked down at his precious daughter. He thought about how much he wanted to give her and Nneka the perfect family life, with both parents together. But could he truly forgive Adanna and trust her again? Adanna stepped towards Emeka, her eyes pleading and brimming with tears. "My love, I have no excuses for the distress I have caused you and our family," she said in a shaky voice. "I can only beg for your forgiveness and vow to spend the rest of my life regaining your trust if you allow me back into our children's life again." Emeka stared at Adanna's sorrowful face for a long time. Seeing the genuine remorse there, he thought about what all the family's elders had said too. Finally, after what felt like forever, he gave a slow nod of his head. Olachi's little face brightened up with a smile as she chimed, "Yay! Mama is coming home." The elders exchanged relieved look and Adanna rushed forward to embrace Emeka. Crying into his shoulders, she kept whispering, thank you," over and over again. Emeka hugged her back stiffly, still feeling a pang of hurt and uncertainty, but he knew he was doing the right thing, preparing the family for Olachi and Nneka's sake. Whether he could truly find it in his heart to forgive Adanna's betrayer remained to be seen, but at least they had a chance to pick up the broken pieces and try again. Subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so that you won't miss out on other interesting stories. God bless you for watching.